What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Bronco-Ranger Base Camp Live. So, I appreciate you all being here tonight. Look, we have an empty chair. Who knows if he'll show up or not? Gavin's had a busy couple of days with some friends, and so he's like worn out. So we'll let him rest, and if he wants to show up, he's welcome to show up. So let me get on to the comments here. Yeah, I don't know what to do without a co-host sometime. What's going on, Nick? Thanks for joining us. Destination Bigfoot Bronco, what is going on there? TJ Miller, ready for Carlisle. I am ready for Carlisle, ready to meet you. You have to look us up on Instagram Messenger and kind of communicate with us that way. Dirk Connor, what is going on? Howdy, howdy. Yeah, so I'm going to talk tonight. I'll show you a video a little bit on the Ranger Raptor, talk about the suspension on that. There's a few things out there where I'm seeing more and more people online talk about the tire size and why it doesn't have anything bigger than 33s. On the Bronco, I think Johnny was talking on his channel tonight. Go over and check out his video on the new stuff coming out. And as far as, I think, additional headliner and waterproof flooring and whatnot. But he has a video he uploaded earlier, did a live stream actually, with the Broncos in July. So if you're looking to get a Bronco, you haven't gotten one yet, stuff's changing here in the future. So will it affect cost? Everything affects cost. So we'll wait and see. But Wytheville, Virginia, Bronco Fest 2023 is in the books. We had a great time. And I'll tell you what, really cool people there. I think, I asked them, are they doing it next year? And they said, yes. So look for the announcements. I mean, obviously it'll be later in the year, but the chair's moving.
So,
well, hold on. I'm chatting with them about Wytheville, man. What? Gavin's rolling in just like, hey, everybody. So,
I'm just going to say hi.
Oh, you going to say hi to everyone? Well, say hello.
Hello, everybody. I've been hanging out with my friends today. We've been riding around the neighborhood.
Yeah, tired.
Doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I'm really tired, and I don't want to be just sitting in the chair like
dozing off.
Yeah, like daydreaming or dozing off.
So, real quick before you go, did you have fun camping in Wytheville Friday night?
Yes, that was very fun, and I'm glad I made you do that because he was like, we should just stay in a hotel.
Made me do it.
But camping was so much better, even though it was a little bit cold.
Yeah. So I went totally prepared to tent camp, but I just knew that it was going to be booked. There wasn't going to be any spots for us. Well, as it turns out, there was 3 spots when we got there, and 2 Jeeps rolled in right behind us, and they wanted to trade our spot. And Gavin was like, nah, I think we like it where it was. We had some of the coolest neighbors in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I have this thing where I go camping. Huh?
We were right on a stream.
Right on a obviously freshwater up there, but we're on a stream. Had the nice
right
sound
behind
to
our
it.
Campsite.
But I didn't go for 42 degrees. I know the joke is wherever I go, it's going to be freezing. Well, it got down raining. It got down to 42 degrees, and our neighbors just strung a cord over there, gave us a portable heater, and said, "Hey, put this in your tent." You know, they were in the next campsite, and they had power. We didn't, so the spots are a little bit different, but we had a good time. And we got up. Unfortunately, didn't get to do any wading. You know, Gavin's got these waders he wants to walk around and magnet fish and regular fish. But next trip, right?
Yeah,
we'll do it
when
next
we
trip.
have time.
And what'd you think? And then you can go. What'd you think about Bronco Fest 2023?
That was really cool. Like that drive was awesome. I got some cool pictures at the winery. I got a really good picture with a filter of the old house there, and that was from like 1700s, because it had a separate like kitchen, because they didn't have air conditioning, so they're trying to keep as much heat out of there as possible.
House was built in the 1850s, and so that would have been normal around that time period.
Right? 1800s.
Yeah, 1850. So you had fun there.
Yeah.
And the winery was cool.
And they also had a butcher, and I think it was in a bag. It was a pig.
Oh.
I can see a little silhouette of a head, so I'm not going to talk about that much.
You don't. Yeah, you can't say that on YouTube. They'll freak out a little bit.
They'll be like, "Oh my god!"
But Overlanding for fun. Hey, what's going on? But Destination Bigfoot Bronco said Overland Expo East flashbacks. Well, you weren't there, thank goodness. But yeah, it was.
I wanted to be there.
Well, I'll tell you, we will.
But I had not COVID. I had the flu.
You've never had that. Don't say that word on here. You know they don't like that.
I never had
Anyway, so yeah, I'm a balance of nature guy. I don't get it. So anyway, what else going on? So you had fun in Wytheville. You like Bronco Fest 2023, and you like camping even though it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. All right, man. We'll say good night. Everyone said hello to you.
Hello, everybody. Boo boo.
See, what is that? Did you get his autograph?
What, the bear?
Yeah.
No.
Actually, there was something sloshing through this creek about 4 a.m. But and there was this really weird bird.
Big too.
We did a live stream. If you go back and listen to that, you might hear it too. And it was kind of a weird live stream. We didn't have, we were out in the dark. We didn't have, lighting, right?
We had a campfire and
a campfire and a little lantern. So you had all the shadowing. It wasn't. Well, look, I'm going to talk. We got some business to talk about. So, Bronco Fest was cool. We're going to talk about that, and also the Ranger Raptor suspension. Why the Ranger only has 35s and not anything bigger, and what's 33s or 33s and not 35s, right? And about the suspension, the Watts linkage, why it's there, why is it not on the Bronco Raptor, and all that cool stuff. You good with that?
Yeah.
Right, man. See ya.
Yeah.
Good night, bud. See ya. Hey, thanks for crashing my live stream, by the way.
Hey, I'm a little not feeling cough stuff.
Danielle, yes. Hello, and yes, it was a blast. It was a good time, wasn't it? So I see that event growing pretty well because, first of all, it was just like Super Celebration East. Great people there. It was fun. What's really cool is there's this huge building called the Apex Center. Now, we're talking about Bronco Fest 2023. And the Apex Center is a pretty large building. There's dirt inside. So, if it is raining, you can park in there and everybody can get out and enjoy their Broncos, look at each other's, Broncos and mods and, whatever. Also, they had some food and stuff there. So it's really cool. So, one day the event will be so big that it'll be outside of that building. However, there are other buildings there. Can they use those? I have no idea. So pretty cool event. We did go on a drive. I missed the one Friday because Gavin had something at school on Friday during the day and I couldn't go until Friday evening. And oh, here we go. Did you do a bona fide water crossing? No, just down a little hill, just a small hill. That's all. But no, Tim, I actually didn't. So what I was going to tell you was the drive on Friday was more of that off-road type gravel, that type stuff. Where we went was mainly asphalt roads. But it was a fun drive. There was a lot of turns. We had to wait for a little bit on this one mountain road. And we had to wait. We figured out why later. Someone not related to us or in a Bronco, but in a car kind of ran down in the ravine. So they had to fish the car out and that took a little bit. And then, of course, the state trooper there and the record driver, they weren't ready, I think, for I don't know how many Broncos was in that group. Maybe, I don't know. I'm bad at guessing like that. Maybe 40 or 50. They just kept going and going and going. You can see the shock, the look on their face, they were like, geez. But yeah, those first gens, 6 gens, I don't remember. I think there was I guess a 90s, a 5th gen, so there was one in the group, maybe 2. So we had a good time. It was a fun trip and got to meet a lot of new people. And so that's what was really cool about it, and yeah, and Danielle Middleton, she has a there's a 2-door black Big Ben. So that, by the way, is a very rare trim. You don't see many 2-doors. You don't see many black Big Bens for whatever reason. You just don't. So it was really cool to see that, and I always like seeing that Yeah, think about like a two-door antimatter or a two-door. I guess they did the two doors in antimatter. That's a really rare color because they only did it to 1 year. And if it was a two-door, they only built a few of them, or did they even get any two doors built in the first year? Maybe a few of them. I don't know. But I know that's a rare breed there. Bronco Dude, what is going on with you? Hello, thanks for tuning in. Let's see, how many six gens total for the weekend? I don't know. I don't have an accurate count. I mean, that would definitely be something to reach out to them. Um, I don't really know. But Van City Adventure, what is going on? Yeah, and Burke's Garden was beautiful. I guess that's the Friday drive, right? Because that doesn't sound familiar. I know we went to the winery. Tim, I think I answered this. No, I did not do a water crossing at all. Jonathan, thanks for saying that, Gavin. Let's see. Mobile said, is in Holly across from Holly Oaks RV Park. Cool. Well, hello. Thanks for tuning in, checking in tonight and watching us, Mobile Motto. So let's see who else is in here. And say Nick, TJ Miller. So that's pretty cool. Hey, let's talk before we get back on to the let's say super celebrate Bronco Fest. Got to get it right. Before we get back on that detail, and by the way, Wytheville is a very cool place. Old, like very old town. The thumbnail for the video tonight was taken on their main street, and we were at a coffee shop. And I got to tell you, it's just perfect. Love the location. Couple neat spots to eat there. But what I really liked is the campground there. Now we might put a video together talking about the tent. We have a Kelty tent. It goes up super easy. It's built well, nice. Yeah, all the stitching's perfect on it. So good quality. And I think we might do that for someone looking for a tent, what kind of tent to get. So we're happy with that one. But the Ranger. So I want to show you something here. Let's get to the right screen. All right. So this is a question that I'm not going to pretend like I know the answer to, but maybe Mobile Motto would have some insight on this. So the Ranger Raptor, only the Ranger Raptor, first of all, it has coilover shocks in the rear, but it has something called the Watts linkage. And a Watts linkage is basically, and you'll see it in this video, it's there's a pivot. It's called a center link. It's the piece that's attached to the differential cover. And then you have arms that come off of that. And basically what happens is as the vehicle's going up and down, this thing is pivoting like this, and it keeps the body and it keeps the frame. Obviously the body is attached to the frame. It keeps the frame straight overhead, the rear end of the vehicle, the rear differential. It doesn't allow for a lot of lateral movement. And when you have a panhard bar like the Broncos have, which goes from the rear differential up to the frame, what happens is that as you get more travel, you tend to, let's see if I can do this right, the differential, like if this was the tire, as you get a lot of travel, and I think it would go to the driver's side, the body tends to move off center of the rear end. And so the Watts linkage is supposed to keep where you have a lot of travel in the suspension. So you get a lot of movement vertical. It's supposed to keep the rear end straight over. What I wanted to know is, okay, I understand what Watts linkage is. I've seen it on vehicles before. It's actually on cars and some rods and things around here, hot rods. What I want to know is why not on the Bronco Raptor? Was this something that they just decided to use? Because it has been in the World Raptor, the one that's built in other countries, mainly Australia, South Africa. It's also been used in the Everest, which is really like an SUV Ranger Raptor, honestly. But so it's used in those two, and it's the first time it's being used here. So I thought that was very interesting. Is it coming to the next year's Bronco Raptor, or are they staying with the panhard bar? I don't really know. Yeah, so it limits up travel. So I know it's for extended vertical travel, So what is the limit? I mean, it would depend on the size, the model. It would depend on what. Uh, okay, if you're doing it on a rod, you can almost build the stuff, right? You can, as long as you get the geometry right. But if you're buying it, I guess the question would be, what is the max travel that you can have on that? Which the travel is why the Ranger Raptor only has 33s on it, by the way. Um, and more on that in just a second. But let's watch this video real quick, and let's watch the first shot. You're going to see the Ranger Raptor kind of hopping, and look at the suspension. Look at how the wheels are moving in relation to the body. Then the first shot's going to be of the rear shock and spring. Then the next shot will be from the front suspension, upper and lower control arm, and the Fox 2.5-inch shocks. And then you'll see the watch linkage. Let's go ahead and hit play here, I guess. Maybe it'll play. Try not to play the whole video. All right, here you go. So there's the coilover in the rear. All right, there you see of course, the lower control arm, tie rod, the CV joints there. What I really like is, with the way this is engineered, look how horizontal that is. So there's not a lot of binding, at least at this particular shot of it. It's not a lot of angle. I wouldn't say binding. Binding's an issue. Just angle this is a design feature. There's not a lot of angle in it at all. So there's the watch linkage right there. You can see it on the rear diff. And so when a vehicle's level, by the way, that center link should be slightly off center. In other words, it should be slightly angled. It's not going to be vertical in most applications. Now you look at the travel on that. Anyway, so I know it's just a short video on that, but I didn't want to show the whole thing. You can see that over at Ford.com. But my point is that talking about suspension on it. So one of the engineers with Ford Performance said, keeping this a mid-sized truck. And the problem is, if you put anything bigger than 33s on it, what happens is you're going to limit travel. And then if you want to increase travel, you're going to have to increase the height of the body over the frame. And then you'll have to increase the sweep of the arms. So the upper and lower control arms will be longer. And then what that does is it makes it wider. Think Bronco Raptor. You know how wide it is. So part of that is because of the 37s. So the bigger the tire you use, the less travel you have. So if you want to use larger tires and keep the same travel, then the body's going to be higher. Suspension in general, but the body will be higher above the tire, and then it has to be wider to keep the same radius with the longer arm. So the reason why it doesn't have 35s is it becomes not so much garageable, right? So it's a mid-sized truck. If they keep going, it's going to be a full-size truck, and then the full size will move into super size and then super duper size. So it is a mid-sized truck, so they're keeping the width in mind, the height in mind. But I think with the wider front, and the cab slightly different, but overall same dimensions, but the front of the Ranger is wider. And supposedly this was because of the 2.7 option that will be coming later. The radiator cooling, induction, and things like that. So they needed a bigger grill on it. The bigger front end on the Ranger makes it look bigger. And of course, the bed's slightly different as well, the design in it. So I think when you're watching the videos and people saying, hey, why not 35s? Well, why not, 37s? Why not 40s? Why not 44? I think what happened is at some point the manufacturer has to stop. They have to look at, and by the way, 33s, it's less mass. You're talking a difference of 405 horsepower in the 3.0 in the Ranger Raptor versus 418 in the Bronco Ranger. So you're talking a lot lighter vehicle, it's just over 5,000 pounds, like 5,050 pounds or so. It's going to move, right? And it's going to do well. And I think they've got it just right for the midsize truck. So 33s, wait and see. I get to put my hands on one hopefully in a few days, and that's going to be really fun. And you'll see one of the most in-depth reviews if they allow me to do anything other than just take static shots of it. But if they allow me to, open and close the doors and kind of get in it and stuff like that, you will see a detailed review. So if that happens this weekend, that'll be fun because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't get to see in other reviews. Like people just didn't think to look at this stuff. And one of the things is I thought it was interesting. The Bronco Raptor pulls air and think about the horsepower is not that much different. It pulls air from two sides, and the gasket, the weather stripping, channels basically the entire nose forward of the radiator for air channeling. So air is going in on the right side, the driver's side, the passenger side. It's channeling across, and then it's going into a wider inlet. On the Ranger, it's a much smaller inlet. It might be a little bit taller, and it's segmented so that the weather stripping that seals it from engine heat is only on the passenger side. So it's interesting to see they still are working with that 50% induction losses reduction. So basically they've gotten rid of about 50% of the induction losses due to drag and charge pipes and the Y underneath the hood and things like that. Also the exhaust. But it's interesting that they were able to shrink some of that space and keep those numbers where they were. Now, is that why it's 405 and not 418? And it's not just a tuning thing, or did they detune it because of the weight and size of the vehicle? So those are all some of the questions I hope to get answered. And either way, it's just going to be a fun truck to drive, I got to tell you. So, let me go back to some of the comments. All I saw mobile was, does Becky know? I don't get me in trouble here because she is watching downstairs. Let's see. It's a sway bar that centers the axle. Yes. I mean, I know what it is, but I guess the question is, why not on the Bronco Raptor? Because the travel was too high, the 14 inches in the back, maybe. Yeah, Nick said, yeah, panhard bar keeps the axle centered from side to side. Sway bar helps with body roll. Yeah, so the panhard, if it goes up high enough, it will allow for a little bit of rotation or movement. The rotation of the center, the radius, the mount. So Mobile said the rotation of the center, the radius, the mount points, and the length of the diameter is the limit of vertical travel. Got it. So just some measurements. In other words, when the top and the bottom mount are level, it's maximum up and down travel. All right. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. The real reason they'd rather sell a Bronco Raptor than a I hear you. 1993 Ford Explorer. Yep. Does Becky know? Actually, Becky knows that she knows that I'm going this weekend, but she doesn't know what review I'm doing. She doesn't care. As long as I don't come home with another set of keys. Craig said, hi there. I met parked next to you and your son last year, Ford Nationals with the Eruption Green OBX. Yes, I remember you well. Remember chatting with, yeah, I do. I remember chatting with you as well. You live somewhere around that area, I think, right? You're from those near there, I believe it is. I am making the trip up. We will be there, be driving the same Bronco, and we will be there earlier Saturday. I'm not going to be able to make it Friday. Work calls. I have a meetings that I try to avoid Friday on, but when certain people are in town, it is what it is. Weekend escapade with the Ford Ranger. It is. Yeah. No, like I said, as long as I don't come home with another set of keys, she's all right. But our company does need a new truck. So yeah, we'll see. Let's see. But yeah, Craig, I look forward to seeing you again. Look us up. We'll be there. And earlier, one of my daughters is going with us as well. So she has a Mustang. She has a 2010 Mustang pony package, and she loves that car, and she wants to go get some ideas, whether she mods her car, or gets a new one. My youngest daughter is getting a Mustang this year. So we just continue these the Fords here. And it's not like you just keep collecting vehicles. It's that she needs something to drive and she's driving, one of our other vehicles that may or may not stay. Who knows? But Craig, thanks for chiming in and look forward to talking to you later. But so Gavin and I, we went to Firehouse Vintage a few weeks ago in Statesville, North Carolina. Then we went, where did we go? We were at Supercell before that, then Statesville, and then we just went to Wytheville for Bronco Fest 2023, which was so much fun. And now we're going to Carlisle. Lucky for me, the first gen Mustang show at the Mustang Museum in Charlotte, North Carolina was postponed because of the weather this past weekend, because Wytheville and that was the exact same time. Well, they've moved it till the third week of June, which now it looks like I can make that trip. So we'll have video coming from that as well, if in fact we make it down there. A few years ago when that place opened, one of the, I guess you want to call them the founding members, we donated, we have a brick, out front, has our family name on our car and stuff like that. So it's kind of cool to go back and let Gavin see that and remember it, because he was really small before he's really into vehicles and stuff. So, but to be able to go down there and see all of these first gen Mustangs is going to be cool. And to kind of get ready for that 60th anniversary. This is not Mustang talk, but think about that. Next April will be 60 years that the Mustang's been in existence, and so much fun. So let's see. Mobile said I need to stop screwing around and find a dually. So excuse to buy a toy hauler. Yeah, I think you need one probably, because you're on the road quite a bit hauling stuff. So why not get one? Then you can take all your toys around town. But I really appreciate. Hey, and I hope, does anyone mind that I've got the ticker going across the bottom? I was going to ask if anyone's looking for something good to read. Now, look, I know paperbacks are kind of old school, but I'll tell you, the other day I got tired of looking at my phone. I got tired of looking at Gavin's iPad, and I just wanted to pick up a book. So I actually picked up a book at a bookstore and started reading through it. And I was like, it's kind of cool not to look at a screen. However, we do have the ebook version that will be launching soon. But this is part of the way to support our channel, but it's also a good book too, I think. I'm partial, right? Of course I would say it's a good book, but what am I going to say? It's not a good book. It's not that thick. How many pages is in it? And it's not self-published. There's a publisher, Mascot Books, put in my mugshot on the back. But anyway, if you sort of want to tie in a car to business motivation, like right now, a lot of people are sort of going through like a malaise type thing. It's easy. It's easy for us all to go get kind of, I think I need to read this again, is what I'm saying. Right now, stress is at an all-time high, but let's get back to talking some cool vehicle stuff. Craig said, I live about 2 hours from Carlisle. I'll be there Saturday. The Bronco looks quite a bit different than last year, 100%. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, thanks for safe travels comment there. Craig, I remember you had big plans for it. You were going to be doing some stuff. I think, if I remember, and I see a lot of Broncos, so forgive me if I got it wrong. The wheels, I remember the wheels. Did you have gold wheels or bronze colored wheels on that at the time? I can't remember. I think you did. See if my memory's working. Let me know. Nick said, I wish I could do that Mustang show with my 67. Yeah. Being on the opposite coast, that is mobile. I'll let you comment. Yeah, but the coast thing, there's a lot of stuff. I want to go to Super Celebration West, but there's just no possible way we're going to get our Bronco out there. So, you can fly out there and kind of hang out, but unless you're going to be riding with someone, hanging out with someone there, unless someone invites us, probably not going to happen unless I could rent a Bronco out there and then go have some fun. And then, you have all the insurance issues with that. So we'll see. But Yeah, if somebody's going out to Super Celebration West and they're looking for some passengers, Gavin and I might be interested. And as long as Bronco Off Rodeo is still going the end of this year, Gavin will officially be old enough to go. So you just know he's going to have fun there. So if we can get that scheduled for like November, that'll be super fun. So we have a lot planned for this year. But the biggest thing is what's going on with your Bronco. I'd love to know what modifications have you done to your Bronco or your Ranger, your F-150, your first gen? It doesn't matter. Like whatever you drive, what's some of the stuff that you've been doing, and what are you seeing online that interests you as far as modifications? Brands, of like what brands you like, and then what's the mod? I know the hard tops. There's what Advanced Fiberglass has one. Armadillo has one. I don't know if Armadillo's is out yet. Maybe it is. I haven't looked. And then I'm starting to see on sort of the marketplaces around the interweb, I'm starting to see OEM hardtops go up for sale. There's one that popped up on one of the channels, I think for 65 or 6,600 yesterday, I believe it was. So I guess if you want OEM, that's not bad. But then, Mitchell Watts put one on his, and I just watched the short that he did, and it looks like it's very well built. It's got foam in between the top and the bottom layer, which appears to add some more sound deadening. It would be interesting to hear one of those, being inside one of those while you're driving. But yeah, as far as the modifications going, I don't really know. Only talk right now is portals. Gotcha. Jonathan, I like the Fun Runner Broncos. Yeah. Well, and let's see. I'm not ready to take our Broncos off-road high-speed yet. However, I really am looking forward to taking Becky's Bronco down to Urari or somewhere like that and just, ripping it up. We have some places here in Virginia. I guess when some of the Bronco groups go, my Bronco is going to make it to the trails this year at some point, but right now we're still, I'm easing my way in there, right? I'm driving it in the rain now. You'll be happy for me. I'm driving through the mud. I'm getting it dirty. I'm going through fields, down hills. I'm getting there. But no, I've loved that Bronco so much. I just hate the day I put the first scratch on it, but it's an off-road vehicle, and that's what I got it for. So all jokes aside, it will be being put to the test this week. Flagpole is fun. Okay, yeah, I've heard about that. And there was a group with North of Virginia area Broncos, I think it is, on Facebook. I think that was their group, or that are Northern Virginia Broncos. They were headed, I want to say, out there in some recent trip, or someone was planning a trip. So definitely going to go out there and do some stuff like that. Let's see. I'm trying to make a case for going to Pikes Peak this year for a hill climb. Driving what? Bronco Army DMV. Got it. Okay. Good deal. Yeah, you guys know more about those groups than I do. Well, if I see that advertised, who knows? Maybe I'll go. That'll be the icebreaker. Oh, doing it in the Bronco. That's even better. Make sure you video. If you don't, what they tell me, if you don't video, it didn't happen. But going to Pikes Peak, that is a cool event. I remember when Gas Monkey was on TV, the Aaron, he had a Falcon that he ran in that, and I can't remember if he made it all the way up or not, but I mean that was a cool looking car, and that's the kind of smaller, older Ford, with big like handling tires, round road racing type tires. That's the kind of thing that I'd like to take up there, and of course, having some type of injection on it's better with the atmosphere change, right? So versus something like a carburetor is going to struggle. I know. Let's see. I guess the turbo would be the way to go, right? You can manage the cylinder environment a little bit better. And there you go, Mobile. You have a turbo Bronco, so why not? Let's see. Virtually no one who owns a Bronco can make use of orders. It's just yeah. Well, I don't know about that. I think no, flagpole isn't quite as bad for pinstripe. Yeah, I'm just trying to lay off of that if I can, But like I said, I know everybody gives me grief about it. I just play along with it, but it's going to happen. We actually have our graphics company. They are, I guess, making the piece for the hood now. So we're getting ready to add some more black and orange to my Area 51. I'm still working on the pinstripe for the top of it. I can't get it right how tall it's going to be, what design. Do we go around the door handles, through the door handles? What do you do about the fuel door on the driver's side, of course? And of course, whatever you do there, you have to do on the other side. So I'm trying to get that so it meets, but the hood, we've got the hood figured out, and I think that's going to be really cool. But the lights and the winch. What? No, the lights, Mountains to Metal. By the way, I'm wearing their hat tonight. I just, for no reason, they gave me a hat and I wore it a few other times and figured I'd wear it tonight. But the Mountains to Metal rear cargo, the Molly storage, that's the Molly panels for the side, the fold up tray, and then they have the medicine cabinet for the back. All of those things I'm looking at getting, and then the winch. So, and all that sounds nice, but that's about 5,000 if you added all that up. So, but that's the goal right there. That's what we're doing with ours. Yeah, yeah. Mountains to Metal. They're, Nick and everyone over there. They're really good people. So let's see. Are you close to Wallops Island? Wallops Island? Yes. So when the rockets, literally from where I'm sitting, when the rockets take off, if I look that way out of the window here, on a clear night, you can see it go, making that curve up into the sky. So yes, I line of sight. Mileage though, it's pretty far away. It's across the Chesapeake Bay. It's on the eastern shore, but we can see it from where we're at, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's the eastern shore. Definitely like to go over there sometime. Why not? Yeah, let's see what else we have. Cooling issue. Yeah, I've been waiting for a decade. It's a long drive. I got you. Yeah, it is a long drive. And here's the thing too. The Bronco, not to sound too much like a fanboy or whatever, but the driving the Bronco on long trips is so easy. I mean, we went from southeastern Virginia to Detroit. Got in late, got in it next morning, couldn't wait. Tennessee, of course, Wytheville felt like I was going to Tennessee. It was a nice little drive. Carlise's like 5.5 hours from us. Well, we're leaving late Friday, so it's going to be probably 6.5 with traffic. Let's see what else. I think everywhere we go is like 5 to 6 hours, except for Tennessee. So, but when you drive this, and Gavin and I are crazy enough to do these trips in a day. So, like we did Statesville in a day. We did, Carlisle last 2 years in a day, except this year we're staying overnight. Most of the trips, though, we try to do it in a day just because we have all kinds of stuff going on. So the Bronco is comfortable. So if you're going to drive it two days out there, it'll be cool. The old comment here, Mo, I know that, but cooling issues, I recall. I guess you're talking about Aaron and his, I think it was a Falcon. It was. But yeah, I mean, look, I don't know what you think about this whole, the Bronco-Ranger thing at Michigan Assembly Plant, kind of switching gears a little bit. I would love to know your thoughts, and I'm going to wrap the show up like 10 minutes early tonight. So we have about 10 more minutes. So let's go have some fun. What's your thoughts on how many Rangers and how many Broncos can they build in that one plant? I know I've talked about it several times, but I'm just really curious. What do you think? I just wonder And I did hear someone say that the plant wasn't even fully operational because of retooling for the Ranger. So if that's the case, then they ought to really be able to crank these things out. And so I know the men and women that work up there are getting it done, for sure. The question is, how many can they physically build? Yeah. What's the word on the park in Suffolk? I'm drawing a blank on that one. Yeah. At least you aren't in a horse-drawn carriage. Yeah, that is. What do you mean about the park in Suffolk? Sorry, maybe I'm spacing something. I don't know. Let's see. I want to go to Texas to see the Starship launch. We watched the first attempt live on YouTube. Yeah. Hopefully the second one would go better. They're only running 2 shifts. I think maybe 400,000 a year running. Well, let me tell you, 400,000 a year would be getting it done, wouldn't it? Let's see. Oh, where to wheel? Oh yeah. So we were invited not by the people that run that, but by someone else that goes there. And I know it's sort of like a lottery system, I guess, to get in. But we were invited to do some filming with them when they go. So hopefully that's still going. I need to reach out to them because it actually has a vehicle I want to review for the channel, very much so. Um, and I guess we'll be able to get that done relatively soon. Let's see. The obstacle course is fun. Let me pop the screen up here so you guys see what we're going on. The comment on the screen. The obstacle course is fun. They also have 2 new places, one in Suffolk with mud and obstacles, and Ryan's Ranch in North Carolina. Wow, I need to check into that. Yeah, I did not know that. Let's see. They did mid 60,000 Rangers and 180,000 Broncos. Yeah, and I think on the Ranger stuff, in my humble opinion, people were, waiting on the 23s, right? So, yeah, I don't know. All right, let's see. We're going to wrap this up with some specs here. I keep bouncing around the two because you know what? Between the Ranger being on the same platform, the T6, I think it's T6.2, as the Bronco, I think there's going to be so much similarities between, especially the Ranger Raptor, but also the FX4 in your upper trims. Like XLT can build an FX4. You do some fun stuff with a Lariat too. I really believe that there's going to be a lot of competition, but if you're looking for a lot of horsepower in a midsize vehicle for under 60,000 at MSRP, who knows what the dealer does to you? But it's 405 horsepower and 430 feet-pounds of torque. That's on the Ranger Raptor. That is stout. I mean, that is good for a midsize. Now, the Bronco Raptor, I mean, you obviously see how good it is off-road, and it's a lot heavier. So just imagine what you can do with that thing. So I think it's going to be fun. There is something called Reward to Rev. I don't know if that's unique to Ford Performance, but it's something that they've got going on where they're taking you get roughly 90% of the peak horsepower at redline. So what does that mean? That means with a 10R60, 10-speed transmission, as you're under performance mode, as you're like, sticking your foot in it, building boost, it's going through the gears in a way that it never shifts past a good torque band, right? Or horsepower torque, but let's talk about torque. It's always in that range. So you're making more torque than the gear that you're in. So the gear is chasing the RPMs. Some engines, if you're not careful, will actually shift past the point where it feels like it bogs down. So Reward to Rev is something that they've come up with to help, or at least someone came up with it, and I know Ford's using it on this one. That's going to really help keep the horsepower there. So there's some cool stuff coming out. And I mean, we're talking V6s making north of 400 horsepower. It wasn't long ago I had a 91 Mustang at 225 horsepower in a 5.0. So, I mean, they're doing some, and then look at the 4th gen Coyote at 500 horsepower, naturally aspirated. I had an 07 Shelby GT 500 5.4 supercharged at 500 horsepower. So technology has just come so far. I mean, it's going to be really fun. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, destination. Yeah, really. Hopefully they don't kill first and second gear. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Danielle said, reach out to Brittany with I will. I will. I'll do that. I'd love to film over there. I think it'd be great and have some fun. They're looking to expand more into Virginia. And the the um the biggest thing is there are simply just not enough places in the Mid Atlantic region for us to go. We go wheeling on the Outer Banks, but you can't do any kind of really, fun stuff. You can drive on the beach, but there's speed limits and it's highly regulated. You can't play on the dunes, obviously. You can only drive wherever the roads are. So, climbing hills is out. So, that I think without having to go 3-4 hours away to the mountains, it would be really cool to have, some hills around here to climb. Now, I know geographically we're not unless you go to Williamsburg, you're not in a hilly area, but what I mean is a course made with small hills to, do the obstacles. So where to wheel, I definitely gonna have to check them out. I keep hearing a lot of good things about it. Mobile said thermal efficiency is about maxed out with direct injection. Yeah, I think so. I don't know if you heard on the 2.3, the new version for the Mustang, they're going to 350 bar on the fuel, and I guess they're just working on the atomization, right? The process of fuel delivery. So that's pretty stout. 350 bars of measurement. Mobile, you might know right off, but if the 5,000 and something, 5,050, 5,080, maybe 5,076. How's that? Did I get it right? Look it up. What's 350 bar in PSI? So that's a lot of fuel pressure. And so, you have basically, for those of you who wonder, like, what are you talking about? You have two fuel pumps. You have a delivery pump from the tank, and then you have a high pressure pump driven mechanically off of a camshaft on the engine. For some reason, they typically do the exhaust lobe on it. I don't know why exhaust over intake, but either way, they're going to change that. The question that I have is, I know that there was a idea of updating the 2.7, not a new generation, but sort of a mid-cycle refresh. I wonder if they're messing around with the fuel pressure on those as well. I guess time will tell. But the 2.3 is going to be a lot stronger engine, and it's going to make more horsepower. So how all that works into what we're talking about is the evolution of these small displacement turbo engines is growing. It's getting better. It's getting better and better and better, more horsepower, and I think more reliability. So we'll wait and see what the Bronco has coming up. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a new engine in that. Let's go through the comments, and then we're going to be rolling on out of here. Let's see. Becky, get Dwayne to hang out with us. Hey, let me know when and where. As long as, so we have, I know I've talked about it quite a bit. We have some stuff right now at work that takes me away from civilized life quite a bit. However, that should be lightening up in the next month or so. All right, cool. So my memory didn't totally let me down. 5,076.32, according to the old Google machine. The 2.7 punches above its weight for displacement. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I like the 2.7, and I haven't, I'll be honest, I haven't really, wound it out to, stuck my foot in it, so to speak. I try to take care of the stuff, and I know if there's any break-in happening, it's done on mine by now, 15,000 miles. I'm just, babying that Bronco as long as I can, because that's going to be Gavin's vehicle. So I'm trying not to totally, run the garbage out of it. But we'll see. We'll see. So anyway, look, I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Any more comments before we roll out of here? I need to get rid of this one and this one. So move us on out of here. I can't say how many people are watching tonight. The software is doing a little weird stuff, but Mobile said the Bronco is just too damn heavy for what it is. Using the power efficiency is just not going to produce the desired result. Yeah. And that's why the Ranger, right, at 5,000, whatever, 30, 40, 50 pounds or 5,100, something like that, a lot better, right? So, yeah, we'll see. And I'll also tow more at 7,500 pounds versus 35 or 45 for the Raptor. So, hey, everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. I am out of here. Look forward to talking to you next week. I think we're working on a couple guests coming up and some more info. Maybe Tim will join us next week. Who knows? But either way, I appreciate you being here. I have a lot of videos coming out. We do have some new stuff happening. And we're going to go from there. One more comment. Mobile said, my 2.3 manual Badlands 4-door is 4,900 pounds. Yep. And so, well, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad then. I thought it was more than that. So I need to look up my Badlands, see what it is. Yeah, she's yeah, I actually thought it was a lot heavier than that, but I need to look ours up, see what it is. But anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you all for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Mobile, thanks for all the comments, and everyone else. Destination Bigfoot Bronco. Let's hang out, find out somewhere we can go, do some wheeling. Let me know. Danielle, thanks for being here. Nick, let's see. Michael Cooper. I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't see your comment earlier. Michael, I have the Mountains to Metal steps on my Black Diamond. Good deal. Well, Michael, I hope you're still here. I'm sorry I didn't see your comment. Thanks for chiming in tonight as well. Dirk Connor, if you're still here, TJ Miller, Jonathan Falls, everyone, and Craig, look forward to seeing you as well. And this weekend, it's going to be fun. Watch out for some really cool videos from Carlisle, Pennsylvania for the Ford Nationals 2023. All right, everyone. See ya. Bye.